Hi there, how are you? All right. So far we have two people. Okay. Hi there. Let me take a look. Hello, Kathleen. I have everybody on mute right now just because we're going to have a lot of people showing up. I just want to make sure that everyone who wants to be here is here. If you don't want to have your screen on, you can turn off the video. That's fine as well. Um, we're going to give folks about 5 minutes to show up. This video is recording, so we will be able to provide it for other volunteers who weren't able to attend today. Again, you're muted for now while everybody's joining the Zoom. We're about 3 more minutes. So let's take a look here. We invited all 30 of our phone banking volunteers, so we have 5 people right now online, so we're going to give them about 2 or 3 more minutes. Real quick, I'm going to just make sure that this is recording. Yes, it is. Wonderful. So I'm not sure if all of you are familiar with Zoom meetings. Many of you might be. There are different icons either at the bottom of your screen or on the side of your screen that you can push. You can raise your hand, you can message, you can basically text and put information in the text box to share with everyone or just a few users depending. Right now I'm going to ask you if you can hear me okay. If you can, give an indication. Okay, good. Wonderful. I have you on mute. I did a Zoom meeting the other day, like a MAGA meetup, and all these trolls, somebody must have given out the link, and well, I know we put it online, but they must have given it to certain groups, and just interruption after interruption. So we have it on automatic mute. And then as we go through, we may open the conversation up for more conversation. Oh, hi. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Give it 1 more minute here. All right, it's 6:05. There we go. We are prompt. We have 5 people here, myself and 4 other volunteers. We have Kathleen, we have Tim, Carrie, and Eric. Eric is going to be talking a little bit later about the capabilities of our program that we're going to be using and what you need to be able to participate from home. There are going to be options if you live in the district to volunteer elsewhere, but in any case, he's going to go over the technical stuff in just a little bit. Welcome to Erin Cruz for Congress. We are really excited actually to be able to be using Sidekick and get the district going and be able to take back the 36th and restore what so much liberties we've lost because of this Raul Ruiz. If you're not familiar with the website, go to erincruz.org. Be familiar with the platform, be familiar with the website itself. There's a fact page, there's a volunteer sign up. As you know, you've signed up to volunteer. There's a little form you fill out, it's real simple. There's also information about my background, many different places that people can learn about who I am, what I would like to see done, and how open I am to receive feedback to be able to work for the people. So please make sure you check that information out. We also sent out an email earlier today, as well as yesterday. We sent out an email covers some of the technical information Eric is going to share. It also covers the script, the first script, which is, I guess you would call it as a training script or first setup as we launch. And it also has a PowerPoint available to you with all of the things that we're going to go over today regarding Sidekick. You've seen in the emails, we've talked about Sidekick before. It's a platform where you're going to be able to make calls, phone bank from home, or if you don't have a phone and we can find you a center, providing COVID isn't an issue, go somewhere to be able to help phone bank remotely, from that stationary spot. We have La Quinta headquarters as well here in the district that's available to us. So that PowerPoint is going to be very, very useful to you as you go back and learn how to use the system. So real quick, before I get started on the actual training, I'm going to open it up to Eric so he can talk to you about some of the capabilities. Again, we sent that information out to you volunteers, but it's just good to reiterate what the capabilities are, what you're going to need to look for. All right, let me see if I can get you off mute, Eric. Okay. Is it unmuting?
Yep, it looks like it unmuted. Hey, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a pleasure.
Yeah, for all of you there at home, he's going to be looking over our volunteers over the district. He is in the northern part of the state, but he's going to be helping us out because we have a lot of work to do. So I'll leave you the floor.
Awesome. Thank you. It's wonderful to be on the call and wonderful to be a part of your campaign, Erin. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate your hard work and efforts to get us to the point where we're at now. And I'm excited. I think we've got a lot of great opportunities with the Sidekick system, and did some training. I got some help from some of their staff, and it really looks like a great opportunity to be able to, in a really concise way, do outreach to a lot of different people in the district and be able to do that in an efficient and an effective way. So, I think Erin had sent out an email suggesting that folks download the app on their phone or be able to visit our website where we actually have on Sidekick, we have our own like a URL that we can go to for making calls and doing the canvassing. And so if anybody isn't sure about that, I would encourage you to look at the email that Erin just sent out not even an hour ago, and it's got the information kind of in the middle part of that. It says, download the Campaign Sidekick app, or you can go online using a computer, and then it shows the website right there. So if you guys want to do that now, that's fine. If you want to do it later, I can just kind of do a little bit of an overview, but it's pretty handy. You basically just go on that website. You click on, in fact, as I'm talking to you guys, let me go on there just so I'm quoting it exact. Basically, you'll go on, I'm looking at the Campaign Sidekick page right now for our Erin Cruz for Congress campaign. And there's actually a place where you go on and you click on, you'll see there's a bunch of tabs across the top. And you'll click on the one that says Phone Bank. And when you do that, when you're first starting out for the first time, the trainer that I was talking to and went over some things with suggested that you click on Survey Preview. And what the Survey Preview is going to be, it's a list of questions that you're going to be asking each person that you call. So it's good to kind of look at that first to have like a little bit of some sense of knowing what's kind of coming and knowing what the next question is. We'll actually have a survey then that you'll be asking the questions and very briefly documenting the answers to those. Excuse me. And then it basically allows you to once you've done that survey preview, you're ready to make a phone call. So you click on ready, and then it makes a phone call to you. And it automatically brings up the next person in line after you've made that phone call. Now, on a number of these calls, when you make a call, there's a good chance, and whatever, maybe a 40, 50, 60% chance when you're making the call, it goes into voicemail. The call, when you make it off of the computer, it's going to come from a 951 area code number. So it's not going to come from, some weird, 208 phone number in Idaho or something. But people will see a 951 area code phone number pop up. Now, if it goes into voicemail, it's going to automatically leave a voicemail message for you. And Erin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a message that you've come up with. And
yes, absolutely. So I do want to kind of roll back though and talk to them about the capabilities that they're going to need to set this up on their phone or their laptop.
Yes.
We could talk about that in just a minute, but I will answer your question.
Yeah.
The voicemail that will be left for the individuals after you're done making a call, and maybe they weren't home and it went to their machine or maybe to their automated system. It's a voice recorded message from myself, and it's about a minute long. And it just basically says that a volunteer from our campaign has just tried to reach out, and that I'm Erin Cruz, and gives them some information. And then when you log that in the system as being somebody that you called that went to voicemail, we'll know we can call them back and follow up and touch base with that person. But that's a very good point. Yes, it leaves a personal message from myself for the people.
Sounds great. And to touch on what you just mentioned about the system capabilities. So the trainer that I was going over stuff with, basically he had said that if you have an iPhone or an Android phone that you've bought in about the last 5 years, so if it's like a 5-year ago or newer phone, if it's an iPhone 6S Plus or newer, so like an iPhone 8, an iPhone 10, any of those you're going to be okay with being able to use. If it's older than an iPhone 6S Plus, like if you have an iPhone 3 or iPhone 4, probably not going to be compatible. So if that's the type of phone you have, probably better maybe to make the calls off of your computer. And the neat thing with this too is that you can be at a location like the Republican, the Central Committee office, making calls on a computer, or you could even be at your home. If you have like a quiet office or something where you can make phone calls, you can be doing this. If you happen to be at home and you have an hour and a half in between appointments, you can just bring the system up, make some phone calls, and be able to do it as it works for your schedule. So it's really a slick and convenient way to do it. And it's a very user-friendly system, which, you don't have to be some kind of a computer expert or PhD to be able to navigate through.
And that's one of the reasons why we have you, Eric. So for the people out there watching, this is recorded, and maybe you weren't able to sit in on the training, or you don't have a lot of time to be able to, sit here and go through it while we're even talking to you, some of the volunteers that are online with us today. Here's the thing, is Eric is going to be made available to you if you have questions, but please go through all the materials we've provided, take a look at the information, read it, do your homework, do your best to get everything set up if you can, and write down your questions, and then email Eric or call him. He's a busy guy. He's got family, work, all these different other things he does. So he's glad to help, but just make sure you compile that all together, and he's going to work with the individual volunteers. And then people who want to be captains in their area, then you can help train the people that you know in your area as well, and then pass it up the food chain and help. This is going to be a grassroots group effort to take back the district. So, and Eric, I'm so grateful that you're helping. So is there anything else technologically that they need to know?
Sure. So I just one other thing.
The training module, because I'm going to go through the training module.
Wonderful. So just one other point. So I mentioned iPhones. I actually happen to have an Android. I'm an Android guy. So on Android, if you have an Android phone, it needs to be an Android 7.1 or newer phone. And if you're working on your computer, it works best if you have 5 megabyte, I think, per second download and upload speed. So if you're below that, it's going to lag and it isn't going to work quite as well. One other thing I was going to mention too is that if you get a voicemail and Erin leaves it, I believe it's about a 1 minute long voicemail. Is that correct, Erin, or is it shorter than that?
It's just at a minute.
It's at a minute. Okay, great.
It's at a minute. It's about 58. I want to say it's 58 seconds.
Wonderful.
And if it cuts off anywhere in between, at the very beginning, I'll tell you what they have. They have the campaign name that a volunteer tried to reach out. They have our website address. They have a lot of information just in the few seconds that the message comes in. So you know, hopefully we get a lot of feedback on those.
That's great. And then so it leaves that voicemail, but then it allows the person making the calls to automatically be able to call the next person that comes up in the queue to then
Yes.
be able to contact them, even though the system is leaving the first person a voicemail.
Mhm.
My understanding. So cool. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty
Awesome.
much everything I had from what I talked with the trainers about. So
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Eric. I really
welcome.
appreciate that. Now we're going to go to the, we're going to go ahead and go to the training module. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull that up here. Let's see if it lets me. Whiteboard, let's see. PowerPoint. Huh. I'm not sure what it's doing right now. Okay, give me just a minute. Okay, here we go. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Let's try this again. All right, everyone, let's see if we can get this up. All right, so here we are. We've got, you guys are kind of covering the sideline here. I'm going to close that right now, the chat. So we have the instructions. This PowerPoint was sent out earlier, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but I do want to go over it with you because it's important to point out some important things. You know, if you don't have an unlimited data plan or unlimited calling plan, we're not asking you to use those personal assets and run up a bunch of funds. Please contact us and we'll set you up at the headquarters with a computer and a phone. If you have the availability to be able to do these different things, download these apps and make calls, that's wonderful. So what you're going to be looking for is this campaign sidekick. You see the little icon? You're going to be looking for this in your application. It's called campaign sidekick. Press open. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. But this is the important part. So all of you today or over the last few days have received a username. That is your email account. Your password, if I had given you a separate password, that's what your password is. But otherwise, it's lowercase Cruz 2020 for now until right before we kick off. We're going to let you test the program before we kick off on the 10th. Monday at noon is when the calls will go live. And so what you will do is you'll enter username, your password, and then here you're going to go ahead and choose your campaign, and you're going to see a drop down, and it's going to say Erin Cruz for Congress. So we're going for the win. Erin Cruz for Congress. Select that campaign and then hit log in, okay? And then as you go through, now this is the iPhone, but you're going to see the other options later. You're going to be looking for the phone bank, and you're going to click on the phone button, okay? And then you'll be asked to enter and confirm your cell phone number. Just know that when you're making calls, again, I know Eric mentioned this, but when you're making calls from Sidekick, the recipient's going to receive a different caller ID that has been purchased by the campaign that we're using for caller ID. So you're not going to receive callbacks from the individuals that you're calling. really regard your privacy. We know you want to volunteer, we know you want to help in the district, but this doesn't mean that you need to share certain private information with individuals and general public, that when you're volunteering for phone banking, you're reaching out to them to share with them about the campaign. So you're going to enter your phone number here, click continue. Once you've confirmed your phone number, you'll be dropped into a queue, okay? Basically, the best way to say it is you'll be given a person here that's going to be outlined, and then you're going to hit next, okay? And then you're going to hit survey. You are going to get a phone call, by the way, okay? Know that you're going to get a phone call, and this is where it's going to happen. So when you go on the Android, if you can, because we're going to jump now to the Android, you're going to do very similar to what we did on the iPhone. You're going to click phone, you're going to click call, and then you're going to click survey, and then end survey, okay? And I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but the interesting part about all of this is that when you originally enter into this program, the program will call you. You answer the call, then you go back to your application, because the program has to facilitate the conversation, if you want to call it that way. It's a program, so it's an interface. And this is where we talk about the power dialing. Now, we do have a capability to do power dialing, but we're going to ask that we not use it, at least for right now, because we don't want a whole bunch of people in the queue. We're going to ask that you put 1 to 2 minutes per call, per person, reaching out to each voter, and keep the conversation succinct and focused on the district, the needs of the individuals that you're contacting, and then make sure they have everything that they need to be able to make a good decision at the polls, and then move forward. So we're not going to be able to, at this point, talk about the power dialer, because I think it adds an element that we don't really want to use at this time. If that changes, we will let you know. But it is a capability that we do have available to us. Now, phone banking on the desktop is just a little bit different. We sent out the link to our website that we have with Sidekick. You log in very much similar way, choosing your campaign. You click the phone bank, and then we're not going to do power dialer, right? And then you're going to do call, and then you're going to be prompted. We're going to go ahead and skip this part. All right, so I think that you'll go ahead and you'll be prompted, and essentially your, let me pull this back up. How do I exit that sharing? Let's stop sharing. Awesome, there we go. All right, so basically you will be brought back into the point where you're entering your information from your survey, then you end your call and you start a new call, and it just keeps going like that over and over and over again. Again, we're asking that you leave the conversation to 2 minutes. We're gonna go over what that conversation looks like. I know I'm moving fast, but I wanna try to stay real focused on the point and the messaging. I've been very clear. We have a red county, but we have a blue congressional district. And one of the reasons why I believe that's true is because people don't realize that the Republican values, our Hispanic values, our community values of all different people who live here in the Valley. We are 49% Hispanic. And I want to make sure that individuals know that even Democrats and independents and libertarians, that less government, less tax, more freedom, these are things we all want. Strong communities for our families, law and order. I back the police. You can look at my website on the fact to learn more about that. But the point is that when you go to these individuals and you're going down this script, it's important that we recognize we are not coming to these individuals with our beliefs. We're meeting the voter where they're at. The first list that you're going to receive from Erin Cruz for Congress is of Republicans. Strictly Republicans, voting Republicans. That said, in the last presidential election, only 36% of the people here voted for President Trump. I believe that we need to encourage people to vote their values. They're having a lot of struggles, and people are suffering throughout the district. So what we want to do is hear what people have to say, meet them where they're at, and find out how Erin Cruz, how I myself in Congress will be able to serve them and be able to meet the needs of the community. So that's where our script comes in. Okay, if you see here, it says I'm a volunteer with Erin Cruz for Congress in the 36th Congressional District. We're talking to our neighbors about the Erin Cruz campaign, the Republican for the people here in the 36th District. Are you familiar with Erin Cruz? Read this over and over and over again. Familiarize yourself with it. You don't have to go verbatim, but the idea is bring up the district, that I'm a Republican, that I'm for the people. I'm for the people, because when it comes down to it, it's all about the Constitution and the liberties and freedoms and the needs of the people. And then if they say yes, they're familiar. You say, are you voting for Erin Cruz in November? And by the way, this is all of these things are in your prompt, in your messaging, in your script, in the system. So when you get a yes, you put yes. And when you get a no, you put no. So we know where that voter stands. It's very important information, especially as we call through and we do our voter outreach and follow up. Now, if they're not familiar, you can tell them a little bit, think about what maybe your reason is for supporting Erin Cruz for Congress. We have a lot of needs here. I'm retired. And, don't give them a lot of personal information, but just share that you're volunteering because you care and you believe in Erin Cruz for Congress, and this is this and that is that. Share a little bit. Just find something that would resonate with a lot of people, but is personal to yourself, but not sharing too much information. And then this is the important one. If you're looking at your sheet there in front of you, what are some of the things that you wish could be changed here in town? Name one. And then there's going to be a little space where you can write that information down in your survey. And you can jot that down in your survey and say, oh, wow, thank you. Don't rush them, but we want to hear what they have to say. But at the same time, let's move on. Let's make sure they have our website. Let's make sure they know they can volunteer. Let's make sure that we work through that script, because it's really information that we need to get across. Because I'll tell you, when I was running for Congress in the very beginning in the primary, we canvassed a lot in different areas. And you know what we heard? We've never had a Republican come to our house. I've lived here for 20 years. No one's ever come to my house. And we get Democrats all the time. This is what I heard. And I don't know about phone banking. We did some of it in the primary, but not as much. We did a lot of outreach robocalls, giving them information so they could learn more. But now we want to build more of a relationship with them. So, this could very much be the case too. And if they want to see a change, get them involved and volunteer, because here's the thing is that in here, there's also an option for volunteering, because if they know they're going to vote for me in November, because one of the questions on the script is, can Erin Cruz count on your vote for Congress November 3rd? And you want to make sure and drop that date, November 3rd, November 3rd, November 3rd. You want to, Erin Cruz, November 3rd, Erin Cruz, November 3rd, because these are the things that matter, that then you can prompt. If they say yes, you can say, can we get your email address to keep you informed on the campaign? And maybe would you like to volunteer? And they may say, oh, I'm not interested in that, but thank you. Or they may say, oh my gosh, really? Can I help? How can I help? This is the thing. People want to make change. People are frustrated and they're angry and they don't know how to channel their energy, and they want to be able to make a difference, especially right now where everybody's locked up at home and not liking what some of the administrative individuals are doing in the case of Ruiz, shutting down our district and killing the economy. So this is important, making sure that you touch each one of these points on the script and talking to them about volunteering, and then grab their email address. And then if they say, no, I'm not going to vote for her, you could ask them, what are your concerns about Erin Cruz or the district? And maybe you can address them, or maybe they just say, I'm done with this. I'm off I'm done. Be like, okay, well, here's our website. Thank you so much for talking with me today, and end it. There's a whole ending script. But, I think the point is be open. And in the primary, I know one of the things we experience is some people were uncomfortable with phone banking, calling. Other individuals weren't sure about getting hung up on or yelled at, or even one volunteer said that this one guy said, "You have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to share your information." And she started sharing and said, "You know what? You must really love volunteering." And she says, "Yes." And so, he was really moved by the fact she cared. And he did give her that 1 minute, but he was really moved by her dedication to the community and to our campaign. So you're going to get all different kinds of people, all different kinds of responses. Don't be dissuaded by hang-ups or by those individuals who don't want to listen or other kinds of things. Keep going. We have on our first list 50,000 people to call. And, call by call by call by call, it all adds up. Right now we have 30 phone bankers, and we really want to make impact. So just keep going. That's what I'd like to encourage you. And then if you have a problem or you experience something that maybe you have kind of questions about, Eric is there for you to answer questions or maybe give guidance. We will be watching how long the phone conversations are. So we want to keep them between 1 and 2 minutes. So make sure that you're relevant, you're making the point, but also listening and exchanging that information, and then writing it down in the system for later so we can go through and reach the voters, and recruiting as needed. The other thing I want to mention, we only have a few more minutes left here, but I want to mention that, and this is kind of something that's heavy on my heart about volunteering, is that I've heard from individuals, we've had a lot of Democrats and independents even, I don't know if you'd want to call them walk away, but they're just tired of the status quo. They're tired of how they've been voting and the no results or bad results. Remember that not everybody volunteering for Erin Cruz for Congress is a bona fide Republican. I am a constitutional conservative. I'm an avid Republican. I love my president. I support President Trump. Absolutely, I do. I support the Constitution. The presidents come and go. And hopefully he gets reelected and we can get some things done in Congress for the people. But here's the thing. We have to come together on 80-20. Agree on 80-20. And as volunteers reaching out to the general public, we may have a lot of people who do agree on a lot of issues, but I think the important part is to understand where they're coming from and why they might want to vote for Erin Cruz for Congress. What is it that they're not seeing that they're liking from the current Representative Ruiz and his radical agendas that they are willing to support Erin Cruz for Congress? And what would they like to see done? And that might differ, and I know when we went walking around neighborhoods and canvassing, we did meet some Republicans who were not happy with the president's tweets. And they asked me what I thought about, don't you think he should be quiet? And I said, well, everybody has their beliefs, but this is a free country and he's, I believe, trying to speak to the people. I shared what I thought and they were bothered by certain aspects. That's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. This is the beautiful thing about America. I want strong fiscal responsibility, strong borders. I would love to have safe communities, law and order, respect the Constitution, protect individual liberties and freedoms, right? Let's come together on the issues that we agree on. And then also to recognize that other people around us may be coming over because they're fed up. And that's good, that's okay. And in this particular race, they don't have to be Republican to vote for Erin Cruz for Congress. And it is a nonpartisan race, the general election is. But I think that's one of the most important things, because here in this valley, at least over where I live in Palm Springs, it's really, really diverse. It's extremely diverse. You have a lot of socioeconomic, you have everything from the ultra wealthy to the really, really struggling poor to the working poor, and people who are unemployed in massive numbers because we're a service industry, and struggling farmers, you name it. We have all retirees and veterans, really, really diverse community. But what I'm also seeing is some of these diverse communities, and in particular here in Palm Springs, like the homosexual community, they are coming in and they're supporting Erin Cruz for Congress. They're tired of watching their individual liberties be infringed upon, their businesses shut down. They're really afraid that the churches are getting shut down. What does this mean for all different kinds of liberties? This is really a big issue, and Ruiz has been a do nothing, nowhere to be seen politician unless it's for a photo op. So these individuals are ripe for change. Let's meet them where they're at. Let's give them the information. Let them make up their mind. They can always send us an email if they have questions after looking through erincruz.org. But be familiar enough with the website that if they have questions, you don't have to answer them all yourself and give an interpretation of where does Erin Cruz stand on the issues. Well, where does Erin Cruz stand on the issues, for example? Where does she stand on border security? We actually, on erincruz.org, we have a fact page, and it would be really good if you sat down for a few minutes and read that, because there's a lot of information there. And if you have questions, send her an email. And that way you can maybe get more of an expanded idea on where she stands. That's going to be how you're going to be responding to those kinds of questions, because these issues, many of them are really, really intricate. And a lot of them are hot topics. So we want to make sure that we give them the resources so they can go do the research and reach out if they have questions. So make sure you're familiar. Now, I think that we have just a few minutes left here. I'm kind of going through and looking at my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Let's see. Please make sure that, oh yes, please make sure that you look for an email on the morning of the 10th, okay? You're gonna get an email, it's gonna be your updated password. Unless I sent you a personal password, if your password is currently lowercase CRUZ 2020, that will be changed. We're keeping it so that way you can't log in and make calls yet, but you can check out the system and make sure that you're familiar with the buttons and look at your program and your instructionals and figure out, make sure that you're real strong about what's going to go on when you make the calls. And then look for that email in the morning. And then if you have any questions before then, make sure you give Eric ample time. Send him an email, send him your write-up, your questions. That way he can get back to you. We have a number of days to squeeze in a lot of phone calls and a lot of voter outreach. And I'm so proud of everyone stepping up and really taking the initiative in the district. I know that we've just made available to us some signs, some big signs, some 4x8 signs that are going to be delivered in the end of August. So right before the 1st of September, we're going to get those signs. We'll put them up all over the district, and we'll also have some smaller ones. And we're just finalizing signs that people will be able to donate and order sign online. And then we'll be doing signs that we'll be having at the yard signs that we'll have available at the headquarters. Flyers are also going to be delivered there as well for distribution. We're going to have, and this is important because this phone banking system is also our canvassing system, okay? So when the flyers are made available for everyone to go canvass right now, it's really super hot. So you're either going to be going in the morning or in the evening if you're able to go and canvass. Not everybody can, and that's okay. Time, talent, treasure, whatever you can do, phone banking, canvassing, everybody puts in their few minutes of time and will make big impact. But those flyers will be made available at the main headquarters in La Quinta. We will have some available over in Hemet. We'll have some available over in Beaumont. And we're going to try to find 1 or 2 other places to have them available so people can come in and pick them up or make arrangements with contacts to get them. You know, with COVID right now, I've been trying to be very mindful of the environment. There are a lot of people who are done with the plague, and then there are those people who have health concerns and are older and really concerned about it. And so given that, we're trying to make best effort to be able to get out the vote, be active, but be mindful of the community. Out here in the district, we do have an aging population. So, and I am running against an MD who wants to close the whole state and the whole country and the whole district and shut down the entire economy. And I've even gotten death threats for going to a talk in San Diego. So this is the thing, that let's be mindful of the situation and people around us and love one another and be open to maybe different ideas that aren't our own, and have positive conversations so we can make impact. Because if it goes negative, you're not going to penetrate. And that's what our goal is here for Erin Cruz for Congress, is really meeting the voter where they're at, really making that impact, building that relationship so we can transform the region and get our country and our state back. So without further ado, I'm going to just make sure that I open up the conversation for Eric again, because I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything that maybe he learned in his training that perhaps could be brought up. And then we'll close out the meeting. I can't unmute it. Can you unmute it?
Yep.
Okay.
I apologize if there's some dogs woofing in the background, but no, I think you covered everything. Yeah, that I could think to cover. So one other thing I just want to mention too is when you're going through and you're making calls, you'll see like a ready button, but then there's also several other buttons. For example, if it's a bad number, I think there's a little button you can push on that says bad number.
It basically lets the system know, right?
Right, exactly. Yep.
Yes.
And that's automatically documented in the system. So there was one other button too, and the other button is escaping me right now. But yeah, so I think
it's in the pamphlet, in the manual, and then also in the manual there's a link to more information, and you can also Google Sidekick if you have further questions. I know Kathleen Prokoff, she's done trainings on Sidekick. I think I remember her saying she's a wealth of information. She's going to be really, really helpful in her area, I know.
Awesome.
So yeah. So it's going to be a group effort, a real group effort for all of us in the district. And I feel really blessed and honored to be able to be your candidate, and that everybody is pulling together to make for a win, and all different kinds of people. That's the thing. This COVID has really opened an opportunity for conversations, and conversations. I live in a condo complex and lived here for several years and year round, and there are people I've never spoken to, and suddenly this has happened, and we're talking, and one of them said they're a live Democrat and they can't do this anymore. And when they found out I was running for Congress, they're going to be phone banking with us, guys. This is the impact we're able to make, because they wanted to know how I felt about the shutdown. They had lost their job. So, this is the thing. Just keep talking to people and keep building those relationships. And then through this system, we'll be able to learn who's really out there, who our base is, who we need to really reach out to, and take the district. Stealth mode from Radical Raul Ruiz. And I think that, again, stay positive. Stay positive, because this is the thing, is that there's a lot of negative out there. People are tired of it, and they want positive change where they can flourish, where they can get their families back on track, or even their home life on track and some normalcy. And this is one way to do it too, is get them involved, and stay positive though. I think that's an important thing to say, and speak the truth as you're out there talking. Make sure you share our website as much as you can, especially since we're in lockdown and people are talking to one another because they're just so upset with things that are going on. But stay positive. Thank you again, everybody, for showing up for our Zoom meeting training for Erin Cruz for Congress, phone banking. Look forward to talking more about canvassing at a later time, and perhaps maybe do another gathering as we go along in the campaign, to be able to share maybe some more tips or tricks or things we've come up across, that opportunities we have for growth and change. I think that's going to be important, because and make sure you tell Eric things. If you see a problem, tell him, because this is the only way we're going to be able to win, is we communicate and we adapt and we grow and we make sure that we're being as effective as we can. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to open up for I know we only have 3 minutes, but I'm going to open up for 1 or 2 questions from some of the attendees. Kathleen, do you have any questions or anything right now? I'm trying to get it to unmute, but it's not unmuting. Can you hit unmute?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Hi. Hi. Thank you for joining.
How are you, Miss Cruz? I'm
Very
looking
well.
forward to making phone banking for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'm just wondering, who should be contacting Hemet?
So right now, you mean on the phone banking?
To get yard signs and brochure.
So the yard signs have not been delivered yet.
Okay.
So yeah, so as soon as those are available, Eric will have all that information. He's going to be the guy, the go-to guy for all of the resources for volunteers. He won't be in Hemet, but he will have all the information about that. So that way, you know, I can do the other outreach and everything else. So as soon as he has those, we'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then the brochures, those may come at a different time, likely a bit sooner. I'm working with a developer. I actually just sent her our template. We've kind of changed it over time. We have Spanish on one side and English on the other. I think it's really important, especially in our district, to reach, you know, all individuals. So there was a change that needed to be done. So as soon as we have those, we'll let you know. And then I know that the party is, the Riverside Republican Party is supporting us. They also have a flyer with our information on it for outreach to pass out in the communities as well. But again, it's hot. We want to make sure you have materials, but at the same time, we need to be smart and stay healthy. And, you know, as weather permits, as time permits, maybe you can walk their neighborhoods, but please wait until you hear from Eric or Erin, you know, our email to be able to get that information. Thank you so much again for participating. We really appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Carrie, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Not about what went on. You and Eric were really clear on that. But it's about with the social media. If people tell me they missed this because of something other, where do I direct them to go get this video information?
Okay, so this video will be made available. We will make it available by request only. That was in our email that went out to 9,000 people who are.
Yeah, I saw that. So I'll just refer them back to the email if they ask me.
Yes, if they would like to have, if they were not able to participate, if they would like to phone bank and they want to sign up to phone bank, a few things. They need to sign up to volunteer on our volunteer link. They need to let us know, send us an email, and let us know that they want to volunteer and that they would like a copy of the recording made available to them. We are going to make it available on our website so we can pull it off at any time.
Okay.
And I think that that will be something that will be useful to people, but we want to make sure that individuals have it, but at the same time, you know, we're not giving out all of our campaign information.
Okay.
You by any chance? Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Any other questions, Carrie?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Are you gonna have by any chance Facebook for your campaign?
Am I going to have what?
Facebook for your campaign, or just maybe just a web page?
So we have, we've sent you an email from our campaign website, and if you scroll to the bottom, there should be a Facebook link. If you search Facebook, it says, I think our username is at Erin Cruz for Congress. And it should pop up there. We've had a Facebook since last year. I have my all around catch it all Twitter, and then I have my a little bit more personal, but some politics, Instagram. But Facebook is real specific to the campaign. Twitter is where I get a little bit more talking to the press and on the hot issues, kind of like very outspoken. But there's a little bit more conversation to be had on Facebook. So go ahead and take a look at that. And those links also are at the bottom of our website. So if somebody goes to our website, they can also go down to the bottom of the page and follow us, you know, subscribe. But if they want to volunteer, they need to fill out the volunteer page. If they want to just get the newsletter, they follow for that. And then they can click those links and they'll be taken to our social media platforms.
Erin,
Yes.
also, we have the Real Erin Cruz on Parler. We have
Yes.
Team Erin Cruz on Twitter, Parler, and Facebook.
Yeah, so we do have a group. The Facebook group for Team Erin Cruz is rather small. It's an intimate group of volunteers I've been working with for several years. Again, that's Team Erin Cruz. That's a hashtag we use a lot. We have a Team Erin Cruz. I'm just going to reiterate that on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Parlay. And if you're familiar with Parlay,
and on Instagram, the support for Real Erin Cruz is carrie.news.
Okay, Carrie.news. Okay.
Or maybe it's underscore.
Well, Carrie News, you're everywhere, Carrie. Yeah, you're real good about that. Thank you for helping with that as well. But I think that Parlay, here's the thing, is we are really under attack with social media. Our voice on Facebook, I know it sounds so funny, but sounds so funny that they're trying to take away our voice on social media. It's just social media, but this is how people communicate. Facebook, First Amendment rights of Facebook, on Twitter. They're talking about, I don't know if you're familiar with Q, but they're talking about taking away candidates off of Twitter and even Facebook who are affiliated or are followed by Q supporters, which Q supporters are a lot of Trump supporters. And here's the thing is that whether or not you agree with certain positions or views or other things, I mean, it's just like you take a group here or a group there and you say, because I don't agree with you, you can't run a campaign on our platform. Now, I have all different kinds of supporters, like I said, across the board. And it would be a shame if I were to be shut down on any platform. When I was running for U.S. Senate against Dianne Feinstein, in fact, we were shut down a week before the primary election on Facebook. That was one of our biggest modes of outreach. We're prepared this time. We've been on Parlay for a while. I've been actively putting more information there because they will not censor. So if Facebook goes, if Twitter goes, we will have Parlay, at least for me to get the information out to the people. Of course, I also send out emails. I'm also here, via Eric and other individuals for volunteers and other things. But the reality is I want to be able to put the information out there for the people, my positions, the views, what's going on, and be able to communicate. Trump set a good example, being able to share with the people. Information is vital right now, especially in an age when they want to silence you because you don't agree. I may not agree with a lot of other people, but I want to hear what they have to say. What we say, what we think, what we say matters. We're living in the United States of America. It's okay to agree to disagree and move on from a conversation, 80-20, right? So I think that's it. Tim, do you have any questions? I didn't really see anything. Let me just check the chat. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So Tim says, thank you so much, Erin. We're rooting for you bigly. You know what, this is the case, is that this is not about me. This is about the people in the district. This is their district. These are their towns, their cities, their county. Sure, it's mine too. I'm a regular woman. I'm a widow. I live in a, condo. I'm fighting for the people, right? Because I need help too. We all need help, but it's not about me. It's about liberty and freedom and our people and you and the volunteers out there in the community and even the people who don't even follow politics, right? So we need to make sure that we are able to represent them in the best way we can. Thank you again, everybody. God bless each one of you. Thank you for participating and keep up the good fight out there in the 36th Congressional District.
Thank you, Erin.
Good one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, stopping the video and ending. Thank you again, Eric. I do appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Okay.